Just one word about chains. I always run an internally sealed O-ring, X-ring, Z-ring chain. There's lots of different, different kinds. They're slight variations. I'm not going to discuss about all the differences now, but if you get yourself a good quality X-ring or Z-ring chain, they last longer. Now, the reason I changed this out immediately when I found out it had just a standard chain is for the kind of riding I do, I'm going to be on trails, on a little bit of pavement, not much, just enough to get me to the trails. And so what I like to do is ride. I want to ride. I don't want to be fiddling with the chain, replacing chain, adjusting chains, replacing sprockets. So because an O-ring chain has the O-rings, in here to seal the grease inside the pins here, you still need to put a little lube on there, or at least keep it clean for the rollers. But generally the chain, if you keep it clean, you're good to go. But if you don't have these O-rings in here, now you've got to spray lube all over. It's messy. And so there's pros and cons to everything. With an internally lubricated chain, they last longer. And if the chain doesn't wear out, guess what? Your sprockets will last longer because they're not working on a loose chain or a chain that's worn. So you're going to save your sprockets, and you won't be adjusting your chain as much if you run an O-ring chain of some kind. And again, I want to ride. I don't want to be adjusting chains all the time. So there's multiple reasons to run an O-ring chain in my mind. Now, there's disadvantages. One is cost. Generally speaking, sealed O-ring chains cost more. So there's that. There's more resistance in the pins. We can feel the resistance. That's how I knew the other one wasn't an O-ring, because when I took it off, it was real floppy. I was like, oh, this is a non-lubricated chain. So if you were at a motocross track and you want the least resistance to get the most horsepower to the back tire, I suppose that, a lightweight chain would be good with less resistance. Again, weight would be another reason to, run a non-O-ring chain. It's probably a tad lighter. So there's cost, there's friction, internal friction from the O-rings, there's weight. So if you want ultimate performance, like on a motocross track, I suppose a non-O-ring chain might be the best bet. But for wanting to put miles on your bike, riding, doing the least amount of adjustments and maintenance to your chain, and longevity of the chain and sprockets, you're better off with an O-ring chain. So I kind of skipped over that earlier, and I thought I better go back and just explain that. Nothing wrong with a non-O-ring chain. Just for my purposes, a sealed chain I just prefer getting more mileage out of my chain.